Player ratings then, Everton 0, Spurs 0 at Goodison Park. A much better performance by Everton today. Hard work, passion, desire, fight, all of the things that we've said these players have lacked over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. We showed that today, albeit it wasn't the greatest game of football and we were lacking some real quality in the final third. At least we worked hard today. At least we battled. At least we showed a bit of, passion, determination, care, energy. We were absolutely robbed by a disgraceful refereeing performance, but that isn't anything, surprising. That's not anything that we're not used to. Chris Kavanagh is being absolutely shocking every time he's refereed at Goodison Park, and how he hasn't given that penalty is absolutely beyond me. In fact, I've just watched the replay of it whilst the instant match reaction was uploading, and it baffles me. It absolutely baffles me. The Mason Holgate tackle, again, listen, if you win the ball in football, it used to be you win the ball and that's it, it's done. Yes, the follow through is rash, and I understand why people would say that should be a red card, but the penalty decision is just utter plain bias. It's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. Yes, he gets a slight touch on the ball, but he takes Richarlison down, and then when Richarlison gets back up and continues to play on, he's blown for the penalty anyway, so we can't then play on. It's disgraceful. But anyway, let's get into the player ratings. As I said, a much better performance by Everton today. We'll start with Jordan Pickford. I've given him a 7 today. Didn't really have much to do, to be honest with you. Neither keeper had much to do. Tottenham, I thought, were very quiet up front, considering they had Son and Kane and Lucas Moura, who were three real quality players. Okay, Harry Kane mightn't be on his best form at the moment, but he's still, a prolific striker and has been for the last 4 or 5 years in the Premier League. He constantly scores against Everton for the start. He's one of those players that always seems to like to get a goal against Everton. So, again, considering their forward line and their forward threats and options, I didn't think Jordan Pickford had an awful lot to do whatsoever. Obviously, they had a shot in the last sort of 5 minutes which rifled off the post. Again, I don't know whether he got a touch to it, but he couldn't have really done much about it anyway. There was a couple of half chances in the first half. They had one where the ball got flashed across the box and somebody, I can't remember who it was, on the back post fired it over the bar. But other than that, I don't really think Jordan had an awful lot to do whatsoever today, to be honest with you. A couple of nice, comfortable saves that you would expect. Come and collected the ball a couple of times, as you would expect. But other than that, there wasn't an awful lot to talk about. So, yeah, listen, a very solid performance. Done everything he needs to do well. His distribution was good today as well. And, yeah, nothing to fault him. So he's getting a 7. Luca Dean is getting a 7 as well. Much better performance today by Luca Dean. I thought defensively he looked good. He won the ball back on a couple of occasions. Got back and made a couple of really, really good tackles as well. When Tottenham were getting forward and looking like they were going to threaten. Going forward, he put a really, really good ball in the opening 10 or 15 minutes. A really good ball in. It was put across to him, long ball across to him, and he fired it first time on the volley across the box. And, as I said, if maybe Dominic Calvert-Lewin's on the pitch, or, maybe Richarlison's a little bit more alive to it, he's on the end of it. But it was an absolutely fantastic ball across the box. And yeah, as I said, and I put another couple of decent balls in throughout the game as well. I thought he was much better today than what he has been in recent weeks. So Luca Dean is getting a 7. Michael Keane is getting an 8 today. I said on the instant match reaction, the thing with Michael Keane I found is that typically within the first 2 or 3 minutes, 5-10 minutes of the game, whatever it may be, he'll be called into action to make a decision, Michael Keane, and depending on what decision he makes, you can typically tell what type of game he's going to have from that point on. And today there was, I think, one where Tottenham got forward in the opening couple of minutes and he made a really, really good interception. And from that point I sort of thought, feel like Michael Keane's going to have a decent game today. And he did. He did, to be fair. I don't think we can really fault him. There was a couple of passes towards the end of the game that I don't think he was quite concentrating, and he put us in a little bit of danger, but we dealt with it really well and nothing come of it. But I thought he had a good game today. Again, I don't want to sit here and get over my head with it or overly joyed by it, because I'm fully aware that Michael Keane could go out, after the international break and have an absolute stinker. But we're doing the play ratings for this game, and yeah, I thought in the air he was good today. Thought he managed Harry Kane really well. Thought he made a couple of really good interceptions as well, where he stopped the ball from getting through, put a couple of good tackles in. I just thought he had a really good game today, so he's getting an 8. Ben Godfrey, very similar. Again, next to him, very, very good performance. Much better performance than anything that we've seen in recent weeks from Ben Godfrey. He was much better aerially today than he has been for a long, long time. Much better aerially today than he has been for a long time. Pretty much won everything that he needed to in the air. Big, physical. You saw that side of Ben Godfrey that we haven't really seen an awful lot of this season. We saw it, large parts last season. Is that little bit of grit, that bite, that determination, that I'm going to go in, I'll go in for this slide tackle. I'll put my body in the line. I'll get in first and foremost. Yeah, the shot obviously in the opening couple of minutes, which is the only real shot that Everton had in the game. Obviously barring the penalty decision. And again, maybe if he'd have hit it with a little bit more venom, it'd have gone in. But I thought he played well today. I thought he played well. So Ben Godfrey is getting an 8. Seamus Coleman on the right hand side. Seamus is getting a 7. Again, much better performance than anything that he's put in recent weeks from Seamus today. Worked hard, battled, fought. I have got one big problem with Seamus, and again, you might be sitting there saying, Cam, don't be so picky, but my big problem with Seamus is I think he just goes back far too much. Whenever we've got the ball and he's got it in a forward area, it's always a sideways pass or a backwards pass, and you might say that's because nobody's running for him or nobody's making the space, but I just think it'd be nice every now and then. I understand and I appreciate that he can't do what he used to do and always get forward and always, throw himself forward and make that burst and run, because he can't get back. He simply can't do that. But once or twice in a game, it'd be nice to see him just pick the ball up and run forward at the opposition and cause some issues. I think he just got a bit of a tendency at the minute to slow the game down. And again, he was good today. He played well. He worked hard. But I'd like to see him, even just once in the last 10 minutes, brace forward and put yourself in a forward area. But he was all right today, Seamus Coleman, so he's getting a 7 as well. Alan is getting a 7.5. Thought it was a much better performance from Alan today in that centre of midfield. Obviously he was next to Fabian Delph, which made a massive difference to being next to Jean-Philippe Gbamin against Wolves last Monday. But he worked hard, he battled, he won the ball back when he needed to. Again, he had that grit, that determination, that fight. He looked really knackered towards the end of the game, which some people would say is nonsense because they're professional footballers and they should be able to play for 90 minutes. But at least we're getting to the stage now where players are looking tired. 2 weeks ago against Watford, we got to the stage where players looked like they could, go home and they didn't even need a shower because they hadn't bothered doing anything. At least we're getting to the point now where people are working hard and battling and fighting and throwing themselves in the line, on their body on the line, and getting back and defending and working hard. And Alan really did work hard today, so he is getting a 7.5. Fabian Delph's getting an 8.5 today. My man of the match once again. We spoke about Fabian Delph after Monday's performance against Wolves, and we spoke about the fact that he changed the game when he come on. It's as simple as that. He changed the game when he come on. He was a lot calmer and more collected than Jean-Philippe Gbamin was. He was holding the ball up really well. He was moving it forward. He's very clever on the ball, Fabian Delph. Look, I get that a lot of Evertonians don't like him, and I don't particularly like Fabian Delph. I think he's bled the club dry for the majority of the time that he's been at the club, and there was a couple of shouts in the stadium about, is he just playing for a contract? Why couldn't he have done this beforehand? But listen, just talking about this game in isolation, he's a very clever footballer, Fabian Delph. If you think he's going to go one way, he'll turn you the next way. Ultimately, he didn't stay at Manchester City winning the league every year for 5, 6, 7 years, however long he was there, being a bang average footballer. The footballer that he was at Manchester City isn't the footballer that we've seen for the majority of his career at Everton. The footballer he was at Manchester City was what we saw today. Not only his interceptions and winning the ball back and playing it forward and just being an overall much calmer and more collected midfielder. There was a couple of times where Spurs threw a lot of men at him and he just turned the other way. It was a little drop of the shoulder. It was a little move inside. It was that little bits of clever football that showing. And again, really frustrating because we've had Fabian Dell for 2-3 years now, and for the majority of his career he spent it on the physio board and fitness board, not doing anything. And for the rest of it, he obviously hasn't showed enough insane, and he obviously hasn't showed that he cares enough to warrant any place in the team. But on a number of times today, we showed what he can do as a footballer when he wants to. And I don't know why he wants to now when he didn't want to before. I don't know. Maybe it is playing for a contract. I don't know. But ultimately, look, in isolation, he played really well today. I thought he was my man of the match. He bossed that midfield. He was very clever on the ball. Brought the ball back a couple of times. A couple of really big interceptions as well. Really big interceptions when Tottenham were throwing players forward. He was throwing himself in front of the ball. He was winning it back. I thought he was great today. So Fabian Delph is getting an 8.5. My man of the match. Anthony Gordon, not far behind him with an 8. Again, I thought Anthony Gordon worked his absolute socks off today. It's very clear that Anthony Gordon gives us more than Alex Iwobi does. You know, even if Alex Iwobi scored the other day, in terms of his overall game and his overall performance, Anthony Gordon gives us much more than what Alex Iwobi does. And again today, we saw that side of Anthony Gordon that we've spoken about a couple of times on the channel over recent weeks, and that is that he isn't just standing there and waiting for the ball to come to him anymore. He's not just standing there and having absolutely no impact on the game. Typically, a couple of years ago, you know, if Anthony Gordon was playing, if he wasn't getting the ball, or he wasn't being fed in, or we weren't playing particularly well up front, you wouldn't really see him. I think that's part and parcel of the reason why he wasn't really used an awful lot under Carlo Ancelotti, and probably why he was sent on loan, because he wasn't in the game. He was waiting for the ball to come to him, and it didn't come to him. He was sort of just standing there again, almost like we had 10 men, whereas now he isn't waiting for the ball to come to him. He's going to find the ball. He's using his physicality. He barged a couple of players off the ball a couple of times today. He's getting involved in the slide tackles. He's winning the ball back. He's getting in the deep end, and he's making himself a nuisance. And that's exactly what we need. We needed him to make himself a nuisance, because he's got the quality, Anthony Gordon. You can see it. It's only a matter of time before he scores his first Everton goal. He's got the ability. He's got the quality. But it was always about him in those games where we're maybe not playing particularly well, or we haven't got, you know, the ball an awful lot. Don't just stand there and sort of wait for the ball to come to you, or stand there and wait for something to happen. Go and win the ball back. Go and battle. Go and fight. Go and show your physicality. And he's got it. He's obviously he's built the, you know, his body up, because he was shoulder barging people left, right, and centre. He nearly sent Regulon, I think it was, into the shop round the corner from Goodison by shoulder barging him. And, you know, obviously Chris Kavanagh gave a foul, because you're not allowed to touch any of the players who play for the top 6. But no, I was really impressed again with Anthony Gordon today. Even though, you know, we didn't score, or there wasn't an awful lot of creativity, and there was that lack of quality in the final third, I thought he still really impressed me today. He worked hard, he battled, and he showed that he cares for this football club. And at the moment, that's what we need in this team. So Anthony Gordon's getting an 8. Andros Townsend's getting a 7. Again, you know, as I said in the instant match reaction, I did think we worked really hard today. I thought pretty much every player in blue worked really hard. I thought the battle was there. I thought the fight was there. I did think there was a lack of quality in the final third. And typically with Andros Townsend, you get 3, 4, 5 really good balls into the box every game. And, you know, opportunities are created from them. We didn't really get that today. He still worked his absolute bollocks off. He still got back and made a couple of really crucial challenges. He still moved the ball forward. He did put a couple of good balls in, and he got us forward on a couple of occasions as well. So, you know, albeit it wasn't as great as the games for Everton, but he worked hard, he battled, he fought, he showed that desire, and I thought it was a good shift from Andros Townsend today. So he is getting a 7. Demarai Gray, very similarly, I'm going to give him a 7.5, because I thought he looked a bit more of a threat going forward. I thought he looked a bit more of a threat, you know, with the ball at his feet and creating chances and you know, trying to make things happen. You know, as I said, with Andros Townsend, there wasn't an awful lot of creativity. There wasn't an awful lot of quality in that final third, but you could see Demarai Gray was trying to make things happen. You could see he was getting forward. He was trying to play the ball. He was trying to cut inside. He was trying to create chances. He put a couple of good balls into the box himself that weren't met by anybody. And ultimately, look, he worked hard, battled, he got stuck in. And again, I thought it was a really solid, hard-working performance, albeit without maybe the quality that we would have wanted. He had one chance where the ball, I think, just got caught underneath him, and there was one chance where Tottenham gave the ball away to him in front of us in the park end, and he took a shot with 4 or 5 Tottenham players in front of him, and I just thought, you know, either carry on going or look for the pass, because it's clear that that's not going to get through. But look, he worked hard, he battled, and fair play to him. He's getting a 7.5. And then Richarlison, very similarly, is getting a 7.5 for me. Again, you know, battled, held the ball up really well, Richarlison. I really don't know how. I don't know whether it was Eric Dyer, or I don't know who else played centre-half for Tottenham today. I can't remember. But I don't know how they weren't sent off for the penalty incident. Even before the penalty incident, it was Anthony Gordon actually got ragged down, and I don't get how that isn't a sending off. But no, Richarlison again worked hard, made himself a nuisance, picked the ball up, held the ball up really well. You know, won us fouls all game. I thought without scoring or without, you know, again, being massively involved in terms of creating chances. I thought he worked his bollocks off today. You know, held the ball up really well, made himself a nuisance, you know, kept the Tottenham defence, you know, sort of, again, wary all game. Didn't give them an easy game whatsoever. And look, ultimately, that's all we can really ask for, isn't it? Into the substitutes then. Tom Davies, I'm going to give him a 6 today. Obviously, he come on for Fabian Delph, and it was a bit of a what's going to happen now moment, because Fabian Delph had such a good game. He was so calm in the midfield. He was so collected. He was so comfortable with the ball that when Tom Davies come on, and look, some people will say, why did he bring Delph off? Why did he, you know, bring Davies on? Maybe he's looking at Delph thinking, listen, I need you in a couple of weeks for Man City. I need you, you know, for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks until Abdoulaye Doucouré is back. I don't know, you know, there's rumours that Abdoulaye Doucouré could be back after the international break. Let's hope that he is. But maybe Fabian Delph was just absolutely shattered and needed to come off. He brought Davies on, and I thought he was all right. He ran round. There was a couple of times when he was clearly out of position, and he was clearly, you know, again, a little bit away from the play. But nothing come of it. He got himself involved. He made a couple of good tackles himself, threw his body on the line, worked hard. And yeah, he wasn't on the pitch long enough to make a real impact. He had one shot which was dragged wide. I think one which went into the goalkeeper's... you know, the goalkeeper saved comfortably, but he worked hard, so he's getting a 6. Jean-Philippe Gbamin is getting a 6 as well, on the basis that he come on and he put himself about a little bit. Don't even know if he really touched the ball, to be honest with you. Obviously, he come on after Mason Holgate was sent off, but he put himself about. He battled, he worked hard, and yeah, he again, I could probably give him a not applicable, because I don't think he really done anything, but I'll give him a 6 because I'm feeling nice. And then Mason Holgate, obviously, he come on in the midfield, which I think there was a little bit of a shock for. I was fully expecting him to come on and adopt sort of a back 5, but he didn't. He come on as a midfielder, which we've seen him play before, but not an awful lot. And it is a position that a lot of fans have asked for him to play in. And I'm going to give him a 1 today, because barring the sending off, which we'll talk about in a second, I thought he lost the ball a couple of times. I thought he was off the pace. He's a big physical lad, Mason Holgate, and he should have been more than able to step into that midfield and just sort of put his body on the line, not make any silly decisions, not give the ball away in stupid areas, just hold the ball up well, nice little passes off and make himself a bit of a nuisance. And I don't think he did that today. I'm sorry, but I don't think he did that. I thought he lost the ball a couple of times in stupid areas. I thought he was caught out of position, and he was only on for what? 5-10 minutes. Thought he was caught out of position a couple of times. And then the sending off, listen, when you freeze frame it, when you stop the you know, the play in and you freeze it and you show it as a slow motion replay, or you show it as a picture, it looks awful. It looks absolutely awful. His foot's so high, and you can stop any. You know, I could have stopped the game at a certain time today, and Son probably should have been sent off, or Kane or Reguilon should have been sent off. It looks much worse when you stop it or it's slowed down. I understand and I appreciate that his foot was massively high, and again, you know, I get that that's sort of a 50-50. But what I'm confused with is, A, can you not tackle in football anymore? Because he very clearly won the ball. When he made the tackle. And yes, he was very late. But even if somebody will sit there and go, yeah, but it's not just about winning the ball, it's about the aftermath. Well, why wasn't it a penalty? Because if you're sitting there saying it's not a penalty because Lloris won the ball, well, he also took Richarlison down, clearly. So if it's all about winning the ball, then Mason Holgate shouldn't get sent off because he's won the ball. It doesn't matter what goes on afterwards. If it's not about winning the ball and you're going to say it's about the aftermath, then it's a blatant penalty on Richarlison, because it doesn't matter whether Lloris won the ball, he took him down. So I just don't get it. I don't get the rules. I don't understand it anymore. I think they're making it up as they go along, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. And yeah, again, we can debate the red card all day, but Mason was rash when he come on. Rash, not just for the red card, but for other decisions, and I thought he was poor today. But anyway, look, there you go. They are the player ratings. If you have enjoyed this one, please hit that like button. Don't forget to check out the instant match reaction. That is up on the channel now if you haven't already. As I said, much better performance from Everton today. Worked a lot harder, battled, fought. That's the type of Everton that we know, we love, and that's the type of Everton that we want to see week in, week out. We didn't get the 3 points against the poor Tottenham side. You know, again, maybe we should have. And it is disappointing that we didn't. But considering the injuries that we've got and some of the more recent performances, when you put them into context, we were much better today. Anyway, look, there you go. If you've enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out the instant match reaction if you haven't already as well. Big thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. See you later.